not last weekend, but the weekend before, we had the Millions March, and it was against, obviously, everything that's been happening COVID-related. And it was hilarious to watch because I went down to Sydney. It was really great to do these events. And the media reported as being no one was there. It was hundreds of people that turned up. And that's just not what I saw. I saw, at least in Sydney, 2,000 to 3,000 people. And it was entertaining watching the media coverage of this, because in all the states around Australia, they basically said a few hundred people. Very entertaining, very, very, very entertaining to watch the fake news go off. But it was a great march in Sydney. We did a march around the city, and the police were great. They were really good. Not one arrest that day. They were very well organised. The organisers of the march did very well. Full credit to, I think Michael Sims was the main organiser. I think there were others, but I know Michael Sims. And they had speakers, and he organised it well with the police, and it was well managed. And the police, when they needed, they cornered off streets when we walked past, and we did a trip around a couple blocks, and then we came to Hyde Park, and we had a very peaceful protest, and the police took care of us, and it was good. It was really good. We said what we needed to say, and it was great. And I'm not going to lie, it would have been great to see even more people out there. After all, they did call it the Millions March, but it was good to be out there meeting people. I love these events so much. I love meeting so many different people. I don't agree with most of the people there about vaccines. I just don't. A ton of them were from IMOP there, and I have the utmost respect for the IMOP people. Especially Michael O'Neill, for what they're doing. It's not easy to talk about this issue. But in terms of the topic of vaccines, I've had all my vaccines as a kid. I didn't take the flu shot. I haven't had any issues. I've got no underlying conditions. In terms of the reason I was there on the weekend, it wasn't because I agreed with them on a lot of that stuff, because a lot of them oppose all vaccines. I believe in freedom. I don't want to see people coerced. I believe in individual responsibility and assessing the risks on your own. And what we're seeing from the government is not that. It is not that. And it was really good to see so many people around Australia getting out there, thousands of people. Now, some of the things we can expect to see, and this is a post from Lauren Easton out of Israel. She said that I was sent a photo from Israel on the left from friends who cannot believe what they saw on beaches in Tel Aviv today. If you don't believe that Israel is creating a two-class society, you better check this out. This is reminiscent of the apartheid regime in South Africa. So they've got these, for those of you who can't see, they've got these seats on the beach, and on them is printed reserved for vaccinated people only. And it's kind of troubling, guys. It's kind of troubling. What does it say? City of Durban, under Section 35 of the Durban Beaches bylaws, this bathing area is reserved for the sole use of the members of the white race group. That's from South Africa, the image on the right. I don't want to see this sort of stuff with the vaccinated stuff. Now, I don't know about the greater politics happening in Israel. Lauren, you probably know better than myself. But I don't like seeing things being prohibited from other people. I don't like seeing it, especially in a public place like this. And we're seeing sort of stuff happening very soon. I mean, Qantas has announced and introduced a digital app to check customer vaccination records starting next week. What the hell is that? What are we doing? This is ridiculous. You're not going to let me on a flight if I haven't had my vaccine? Are you serious? You can stick the app where the sun don't shine, as Ricardo might say. Also, shops and cafes are supposedly allowed to make COVID vaccinations a condition of entry. Aren't there laws against this? This is ridiculous. You're not going to serve me. I hate to compare it to what happened in America, where there was segregation and black people couldn't go into certain cafes or into bars or whatever, or even Aboriginals in Australia couldn't go into bars. But it's similar. That's all I'm saying. It's similar. You've got a situation where a certain segment of society, and it's not tiny. News.com did a survey with over 100,000 people answering, and 70% of them said they're not getting this vaccine. It's not a tiny percentage. It's not. There are so many people that have questions about this thing, and you've got to stop. What's that line from Star Wars? I think it's Princess Leia says this, the harder you tighten your grip, the more star systems that will slip through your fingers. If you keep strangling the people with this stuff and you don't explain it and you're not uber transparent with them, they're going to pull back. You're doing some irreparable damage which could easily be undone. Easily. Like, it's very frustrating to watch. Temperamentally, I am someone that I enjoy watching conflict resolution. I don't like watching conflict. And for example, when the IMOP discussions came up in my discussions with Ricardo, I did not find them comfortable at all. I like seeing people work together. That's what really gets me going. I love watching that because we've got bigger fish to fry. And when I see this kind of stuff, this kind of crap, where vaccinations become a condition of entry into places, the division of people, I don't like that. The government are meant to be of, by, and for the people. And people don't feel like that anymore. They don't. In fact, I don't want to be showing my cards here yet, but I'm strongly considering doing sort of a radio segment for an hour where I literally have people call up on the roadcaster. The roadcaster's got the provisions to do this, the capabilities. Literally just getting them to call up, and I ask them for two very simple questions. Do you feel like you're being heard? No, most likely. And I don't care who that is. That could be a greenie. That could be someone on the far right. It could be anyone. Do you feel like you're being heard? And what topics do you feel like you're not being heard on? If politicians answered those two simple questions, we would not be in the state that we're in right now. If they asked these questions of the community, we would not be in this state right now. Why aren't they doing it? Why not? I am a very young bloke. I have a ton of things to learn. But this is something where I'm scratching my head and I do not understand it. Why are our government so inept at connecting with the people? And why is it a global phenomenon? Why is it that at 10 Downing Street in London, at Washington, D.C. in America, and Canberra, Australia, the capital cities, that these seats of power have people, these elitists, people who view themselves above the general population, where they feel that they need to educate us on they call us COVIDiots, they call us deplorables. Why is it they feel that they can, one, talk to us like this, and two, they know what we're thinking and they know what's best for us? You know, Hitler also knew what was best for us. Hitler also knew what was best for his populace. He went after the gypsies, the retarded kids. He went after the Jews. He went after everyone. You know, Turkey, they slaughtered millions of people, Armenians, because they knew what was best for their country. That's not what we need right now. We need politicians that will actually talk to the people. I'm trying so hard to understand what they are doing, what they are. And a lot of people call me naive. I keep your little conspiracy theories in the back of my mind, and sometimes they're right, and we catch them out. But these are people too. Not all politicians are bad. I mean, what did we see this week? We saw Craig Kelly resign. Is he also in the cabal as well? He's going to run as an independent. These are people too. They have consciences as well. And the moment you condemn them, their minds close. They might be on the fence. If they've gone too far, condemn them. Of course, you should call them out. But don't you think that a ton of them could actually be on our side? But the moment you say, oh, you're a Freemason, they just close their mind because it has no validity. I've been called a Freemason. In fact, they'll probably call me a Freemason now for wearing this ring. They don't know it's from my grandfather. It's been passed down to him. They don't know my father passed it down to me before he passed, but they'll call me a Freemason anyway. And this is the problem, guys. We've got to be better thinkers. We've got to be better at articulating our arguments. And I don't blame you. There are a ton of, and I'm not going after you boomers. There are a ton of boomers that watch this show, and I love you guys so much. You guys support the show. You keep it going. But I don't, and I'm not blaming you for this. There is something wrong with your generation, I don't know if it was the education system. I don't know if it was your parents. I'm no psychoanalyst, but I keep running into this problem. It's a problem where we're discussing an issue and you sort of throw this out of left field topic out of nowhere with no basis in facts, and you shout it. And it's impossible to have a discussion at that point. You just sort of shout and you want to get your point across. That's not how you debate. Now, I'm not saying that you're stupid. I'm not saying that at all, because you're actually got winning arguments if you articulated them properly. I'm saying you're not articulating them properly. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that you don't know how to convince people with discussions. And that's something that at least with the kids today, I lay at the feet of the education system and possibly parenting. But it's not something you can learn. It's too late to learn. You can do this. I believe in you. And why am I telling you this? I'm not telling you this to slam you down. I'm telling you this to build you up. The purpose of this show is partly to educate people. And I want to see the watchers of this show to be incredibly powerful people. People where others listen to their opinions because they're well thought out, they're articulate, and they're able to actually put an argument together that is convincing to other people. Because what's been happening recently doesn't work. Walking up and down the street is great, but the moment you sort of see people, I don't know, hit a car, scream, "You're a Freemason" to a police officer, it doesn't look good. Not all police officers are Freemasons. Can we be a little bit more educated about this? And I'm not sitting on my high horse here. I'm trying to help you guys be better debaters, better at having a discussion, better at changing minds. Watch Steven Crowder. He does this very well. He's got a whole segment called Change My Mind, which went viral. It got memed because it's such a great idea. Changing minds, sitting down with people. But we will continue to see things deteriorate. I don't believe the government's going to learn the lessons of being more transparent. And we're going to see crazier and crazier things as society deteriorates, thanks to the media as well, pulling the fabric apart. This is a tweet from Sydney Watson. She said,